back on the box today. So what I'm looking at now are these holes right here. All those holes there mount the fender on. And it's a type of a carriage bolt. You know, that's a carriage bolt there. So the slot in the fender will fit a 5/16 bolt. So what I was planning on doing, since I want all this smoothed out flat, is taking this carriage bolt, and as you can see, that's like all kinds of movement here. So they must have a special bolt, or these holes have been reamed out, I don't know which. But you can see that doesn't fit. But it's a carriage style bolt that goes in here, and I do know that it's a 5/16 thread that fits through the fender simply because a 3/8 won't fit through the fender. So what I'm doing is I'm going to center this over to the other side here. We'll go up here. I'm going to take that bolt like that. I'm going to center it. I'm going to weld it in, so that way it looks like a stud here. And then is what I want to do is grind off the head of the bolt on the inside of the box. And I'll show you what I did. So here you can see I ground the head of the bolt off like that. And I have it all welded on this side, all the way down. So now the fender can slip on there, and I just use some nuts there. On this side, I can smooth it all out so it's like I want, nice and smooth. So that's where I'm at. I'll finish up the other side. Then is what I have to do is there are more holes that are supposed to go in the frame, one here and one to the front. And then I'll put either a nut zert or I'll weld a nut in one way or the other down here to hold the fender in. So there we are. So there's the fender mounted. If you look up underneath here, you can see the studs there. But to explain a little bit more what I've done here is I got this side welded now. I showed how I centered that in there. But then I took this aluminum sleeve, it's like a spacer of some sort, and I put it over the threads like that. So when I welded here, I didn't get any weld spatter, you know, on the threads. This is aluminum, so it's not gonna stick. Weld's not really gonna stick to it. So I did that, and then I welded it, and then of course then I ground it down on this side. Then I came around to this side and ground it down here. Now I'm feeling it as I go, so if it starts to go down in, I stop, because that little fill is going to be all through here. But anyway, that is kind of the way I went about doing this. Now I'm going to mount the other fender on and go from there. So there we are with the rear fenders fitted. As you can see, got the studs up in there. Now I have to draw lines and make marks for new bolt holes there. And there's another one back there, right there. And then these are for something else. So that's kind of the way the rear fenders are fitting right now. This fender is in worse shape than the other fender. I see there's been repairs. This is really dented a lot. Got a nice big dent here. I'll be hammering and doweling this out to whatever I can do. So anyway, these front pieces, you can see is rotted right through here. There's an extra piece of metal that goes around there for support. I'm going to make another one, but even thicker yet. In addition to repairing the fender, I'm going to do that on both sides, along with doing the same thing for the running board, because that's where they bolt up to. So anyway, that's the fender fitting on the rear portion of the truck, on the box. So next step, besides cutting in those holes, we'll probably have these stripped and start getting ready for primer. So there you have it. So now is what I did is I took the fender off. See all the studs there. And I did this. This is the last bolt that's going to be holding on, one in front, one in back, in the row of bolts here. So what I did here is I did the nut zerk, just like I did here. But I decided to try to weld it in. And so that's what I did. I welded it in. That way this is more flush. And I welded that one in also, which means that I might be doing something similar to that up here to kind of tighten up this gap better. But although that's not what they're designed to do, I think this will hold just fine. As you can see, I got a nice thread in there. I also then chased these threads just in case any weld berries got in them. And everything's all good. So now I'm going to fit this fender back on to make sure that these holes, this one and this one, will line up with the fender. So here it is, all on now. So, as you can see, right there, the bolt is in, bolted into the frame. Same with down here, right down there, bolted into the frame. Everything here is all bolted up. So now it's a matter of getting the fender off, you know, doing the body work and stuff like that. So, but the fenders are on, mounted, they work. Now it's going to be the next step.